Today I'd like to talk to you about your reselling. Is it a hobby or is it a business? Let's take a deeper dive look at it, and I think it might help you to understand what the differences are. My name is Ann, and I've been reselling for quite a few years, mainly on eBay, but we have followed some other avenues as well. I'd like to share with you some tips and tricks and maybe even learn with you along the way. So let's get into this topic, but while we do this, I'm going to pick some orders, and let's start with the first one. So if you've watched some of my other videos, you're going to know we sell a lot of vintage records. And so, of course, the first one is a vintage record. Okay, so the first record that we sold is Perry Ubu Cloudland 1989, and we sold this one for $21.38. It was free shipping. So we got David Bowie, and it's, let's see, One and Let's Dance, and we sold that for $28.50. And we're going to do two more because these next two, one customer actually purchased, and we'll just combine them together when we ship. So he bought the Vibrations for $55 free shipping, and then he also bought Subhumans, which sold for $45 free shipping. Let's talk about what the difference is between hobby and business. Hobby is you're just doing it for fun. You enjoy doing it. There's no responsibilities that go along with it. But a business, you have to take some responsibilities. It's more goal setting. You actually expect to earn some type of income from it. So let's pull another item. Another record. I enjoy the records, but I know it's a lot for you guys. We do sell a lot of other things too, but we are in a record kick these days. So this one's the Pretenders, and we sold it for $17.50 free shipping. This is U2, and it's the Unforgettable Fire. Now, the nice thing about this one is it is a first press, and this one sold for $21 free shipping. Okay, I finally have something that isn't a record for you. Hold on one second while I grab it. So these are some tactical badges. They are all John Deere related, and so they basically are patches that have Velcro on the back. And these sold for $17.99, and the customer did pay for shipping. Another difference between a hobby and a business is how much time do you spend on it? Are you just going to thrift store here and there, or rummage sales or flea markets just when you feel like it? Are you just picking up an item because you think it's interesting, you might use it for a while and then sell it? Well, you can do that as a business as well, but when you're in a business, you have to do it more consistent. You can enjoy items and then later sell them. But the difference between hobby and a business is you're not just doing it when you feel like it. You have to do it even when you don't feel like it. And you have to ship all the time. Otherwise, your customers are not going to be happy. This one is Joseph, and this one sold for $61.75, and it was free shipping. So the next one I have is a Bulova watch. It's a lady's watch, and this is a brand new watch. It is part of some returns, they're Costco returns, and we bought a whole bunch of these. The one thing about these is we went through and we made sure they all worked, that they were in good condition. We took very good pictures of them. But one thing about these watches is the batteries die a lot in them. So luckily, my husband is able to replace the batteries, and we always make sure they are working when we ship them out. This one was sold for $80, and then the customer did pay shipping. So another difference between a business and a hobby is, do you rely on the money? Do you need to make sure you're bringing in a certain amount of income each week? With a hobby, it's nice. You can bring it in when you need a few extra bucks, you get a medical bill, or you just need to pay something off. It's great for a little extra money. If you're really going to be in business, I bet you need that income and you want it on a regular basis. So the only way to get that is to set goals. I think that's really a big key in it, is when you're in business, you have goals and you have priorities, and you need to make sure that there's an income coming in. Let's pull another record. This one was in bin VE. It seems like that's the popular bin today. So this one is area code 615, and it sold for $35 free shipping. Cheap Trick, I bet you a lot of you guys remember this record. It sold for $21 free shipping. Another VE bin. I would say it's because we listed a bunch of items and recently put them in VE. That's usually why you get it out of the same box all the time. But this one actually, and quite a few of these are older records that we listed a while ago. I know that because it's got an orange ticket. And if you want to know how I do my inventory system and how that's significant to me, you can watch my other video on inventory system. And if you're in a business, you do want to stay organized and keep everything where you can find it. Not that you don't if you want to do this as a hobby, but you probably don't have the amount of inventory that I do if you're doing it as a hobby. This one is called Fifth Angel, and it sold for $42 free shipping. Another thing to consider, you're probably going to have to pay taxes on the money that you make. Now the IRS says that you have to pay taxes on any income you bring in, but if you're selling through someplace like eBay or Poshmark or other platforms, eBay and these other organizations are required to send you a 1099 if you make over a certain threshold of income. Now, if they send you a 1099, that also means that they're sending the government a 1099. Now, I did pull off the current rates from the IRS, and right now it's at $2,500. That's 2025, it's $2,500. In 2024, the limit was $5,000. Now they're talking next year it's going to go as low as $600. Now $600, a lot of hobbyists would hit that threshold. $2,500, I don't know, maybe. One thing to understand about this, if you sold $2,500 on eBay, that is going to be sent to the government that you brought in this income. And you will have to file taxes on that income. Now, one thing I will say about it is all your expenses, your cost of goods, which is what you paid for the item, your mileage, things like that, can be written off against that income. So you can bring down the amount of taxes that you pay on it. You won't pay taxes on that $2,500. You'll take $2,500 minus any expenses you have, and that's what you're going to end up having to pay taxes on. So it is something to consider on how much do you want to sell. Do you want to do this as a hobby, or do you want to take it to the next step of a business? So let's pull my next item. It is not a record. So this is a 1969 Hot Wheels. It is red line. So if you're ever looking for old Hot Wheels, the red line, which means that's got a red circle in the wheels, that's what red lines are. That's what usually collectors are looking for a lot of times. I'm not saying that's the only thing that they're looking for. And this didn't sell for too much. We bought this with a large collection of Hot Wheels. This sold for $15 with shipping, but it's a very lightweight. It doesn't take a lot of room to store. So it was a nice little sale, a nice little extra. So that's another thing to consider. Do you want it to be a business or do you want it to be a hobby? How much space do you have for inventory to hold on to it? Now, I'm not saying that you can't do a business in small spaces. We have a pretty extensive storage area, and we're lucky to have that. But there are people who only can work out of a closet. Now you might be able to do that full time if you're looking at things such as jewelry or scarves or things like that. But it is going to be something that you have to think about if you want to do this as a hobby or a business, and how are you going to work that? So I'm going to pull another record. I have no idea if I'm going to get this name right. Fotis, it's from 1987 and it sold for $23.75, free shipping. So here's another item that we have. It's a watchmaker's tool. I would have never known what this was for, but my husband does like to work on antique clocks, pocket watches, wristwatches, things like that. He was the one who purchased this. We sold this for $24 free shipping. That is one thing to look at. Different hobbies might have interesting tools or supplies that might be worthwhile looking into, and it might be something to check out to sell. I have 2 more items that I have to go grab out of our shed because this isn't our only area for storage. So I will be right back with you. So the next item I sold is a pair of glass candlesticks. Now you can see I had it wrapped up all nice and neat even with the fragile stickers in a priority box. I'm wondering, how many of you still use priority mail? That's how long I've had these, so they've been sitting around for a while. I pre-packaged them, but it will cost me like an extra $2.50 to ship priority. So I'm gonna rewrap it in a regular box and ship it United States Postal Service Ground Advantage. I am so glad that they brought the Ground Advantage. It has saved us so much money in shipping costs, but that just tells you how old of an item that was. And we only sold it for $18.99, and the customer did pay shipping on it. I will say I almost didn't list them, but we clean out storage units, and they were in a storage unit. They were in good condition. I'm like, well, I might as well get a couple bucks out of it. And it took a while, but they did sell. My last one for today, and I already have it wrapped up because it's a really long one. I usually pre-wrap if it's fragile or if I'm concerned about having a box. I try not to pre-package everything just because if we have questions on it, or I also want to show you in the videos what the items are. Sometimes it's just easier to have it pre-packaged, ready to go, especially if it takes a while to package. Especially fragile things take time to package. And Mondays get crazy for me. And there's other things going on in life that you want to make sure you get done. So I like to have the harder stuff packaged up already. But anyways, the tool that we sold is a Snap-on, and it's a 3/8 inch drive, 18 3/4 inch long soft grip handle. So this is a good sale at $118.75, $118.75, and the buyer did pay shipping. So that wraps up all of our items to ship today. I wanted to bring this up on hobby versus business because I think your mind frame helps you decide what you want to do. Is it something that you want to commit and be 100% all in? And I'm not saying that it's full-time or part-time. I mean, you can be part-time and it still be a business. Or maybe you just want to keep it as a hobby and enjoy it. Maybe over time it'll go hobby to a business, or at least a part-time one. Whatever works for you is fine. It's just good to understand that with the mindset of a business, you need to plan, you need to work hard and be consistent, and you should get paid for it. There should be some expectation of income. But if you don't want to put in the time, and you don't want to put in the planning, and you don't want to worry about paying the taxes on it, maybe keep it as a hobby. It's all up to you. Whatever you decide to do, I hope you enjoy it. Happy selling.